Hello and welcome back to another in-depth weather video. Today we are talking about the next big snowstorm and when it's going to happen. Multiple models are picking up on different significant snowstorms, and we're going to be going through 3 models here today. But first, I do want to take a look at the National Weather Service page, but there's really not much going on. Some winter weather advisories for that Clipper today, some winter storm warnings in the northwest, in the upper elevations, but overall, not much. But let's move on to the GFS, but before we do that, if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell. Now let's get right on into the GFS. So the GFS is the longest range model that we have, and usually is not as accurate. We're going to go from the GFS, the European, and then I'm also going to include the Canadian model, just for another perspective. So, the GFS here has this clipper system, moves through, brings some showers into the northeast after it moves through the northern plains. Then we have this next system, which kind of starts out in the south, brings some rain to the south, but moves off to the shoreline. Then the low pressure here in Minnesota brings in mostly some rain to the northeast, some snow on that leading edge, but everyone turns over to some rain. Then we get some more rain on the back end in Tennessee. That brings up this storm right here, which moves into the northeast, where the interior northeast will see some snow, but most of the populated areas of the northeast will see all rain. After that, we have a cut-off area of cold air, generating some snow in Oklahoma, very light, and eventually that just becomes a southern slider, maybe some wintry precipitation on the very northern end of that, but nothing very serious and very short term. Then we have this huge storm that moves onto the west coast, multiple low pressures or areas of lower pressure. That eventually leads to this storm. This is definitely a blizzard, and that moves right through the Twin Cities. So if this does happen, this is definitely getting named, and this is a classic spring snowstorm, if this does happen. After that, we have a northern sliding system with some snow on the back end in the interior northeast, but again, for most of the populated areas, mostly rain. So that pretty much ends off the model run here with some more snow moving into California. California now starting to get into some more of that active weather, which is good for their drought situation. Now, here's the European model. The European model is usually a little bit different, but right now it has that clipper system, pretty similar to the GFS. Has that southern rain starting a little bit further to the west, moves up into the northeast, brings some snow to some of the populated areas, probably more Boston than New York, Philly, Baltimore, DC, and then eventually it becomes that interior northeast snowstorm. After that, we have that rain in Tennessee. That becomes a low pressure here, this time around Chicago, and again, mostly rain for the entirety of the northeast, and probably some very bad severe weather in the Dixie Alley, which is our new tornado alley, basically. After that, this area of low pressure up to the north, as well as this area of rain down to the south, kind of combine, and we get a nor'easter. This is a pretty classic nor'easter, but it's also a spring nor'easter, which means that we have mostly rain for the coastline, and the interior northeast gets all the snow from that, with probably the target for the system being down east Maine, as that low pressure strengthens through. But that pretty much ends off the model run here. Let's move on to the Canadian model. So here's the Canadian model. The Canadian has about the same thing as all the other models, with some showers in the northeast from that clipper system. After that, that southern rain also starting a little bit further to the west. That comes up to the northeast. The Canadian does have a little bit more snow, possibly New York and Boston getting in on that snowfall instead of just Boston. But that moves through all the populated areas, switch over to some rain, and pretty much Maine stays as snow. Then we have that Tennessee rain. That moves in. Again, mostly rain for everyone, but again, Maine is probably the only area that will be seeing all snow. After that, the Canadian has one of the spring snowstorms with some snow on the back end in parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, as well as the foothills of the Rockies in some of the Rocky states. But very small area of snow and freezing rain. We have this kind of cutoff area of some moderately cold temperatures that moves through, and eventually this moves into the northeast, and we have New York and Boston getting that snowfall, probably very minor, and that all moves off. And then toward the end of the model run, it's showing yet another southern rainstorm. But that is all three models. Which one do you think is right? Comment in the comment section down below. But that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.